Let's talk Tanya for the 19th of Kislev of a leap year. A good Yom Tiv. Today is Yutes Kislev, the 19th of Kislev, the anniversary of the date when in 1798 the Alter Rebbe was released from prison where he was in Tsarist Russia. Today is known by Chassidim as the Rosh Hashanah for Chassidus, the New Year for Chassidus. And today we begin the annual cycle of Tanya study. Today we're going to start the cycle for a leap year. And we start the Tanya today, and we conclude the entire work a year from now. In today's section of Tanya, we have the title page of Tanya, which contains some of the writing of the Alter Rebbe, wherein he gives us the mission statement for Tanya. And then we have the Haskamas, which is the approbations or the endorsements which the Alter Rebbe got from two of his holy colleagues. And the focus today, I would like to focus on the Sharblat and the mission statement of Tanya, the way the Alter Rebbe articulates it. The Alter Rebbe tells us that the entire work of Tanya is based upon one verse in Devarim, and this verse says, "Ki karev elecha hadavar miyoed beficha uvavavcha lasoisai." This is a verse that Moshe Rabbeinu said shortly before he passes away. Moshe tells the Jewish people, "I want you to know I've given you a whole Torah, many mitzvahs within the Torah, and it might seem that it's difficult for you. I want you to know it's karev. It's close, it's accessible, it's within reach, it's practical. Beficha uvavavcha lasoisai, in speech and emotionally, and also in action." In other words, Torah demands of us to say certain things, to study and to pray. Torah demands that we should have certain feelings. It demands certain behaviors. And Moshe is saying all of this is something which all of us can do. And Alter Rebbe tells us that this book is going to explain to us how that is so. Because many of us, we look at that verse and we turn to Moshe Rabbeinu and we say, Moshe Rabbeinu, what you're saying might be correct for someone else, maybe someone who lives in a different time, a different age, or maybe even someone who lives today, but doesn't have the pressures and the struggles, the internal struggles, the external struggles that I have. But for me, I know it's not karev, it's not accessible, it's not practical. Torah and mitzvahs, I can do all of it some of the time. I can do some of it all the time, but I can't do all of it all the time. And Alter Rebbe says, this is the book, if you're struggling in this area, this is the book that's going to guide you. And Alter Rebbe says, I'm going to explain it in a way which is arucha uktsara, in a long, short way. What is a long, short way? So this takes us back to a story about one of the great Talmudic sages. His name was Rabbi Yeshua, and he was once traveling and he was about to enter a city. He was a short distance away from the city, but he was at a fork in the road and didn't know which way to go, to the right or to the left. And there was a young boy sitting there, and he turns to the boy and says, I'm going to the city. Tell me, which is the advisable way to go? What is the shortest way to the city? And the boy cryptically responded. He said, this way is arucha ktsara, is long and short. And the other way, he says, is ktsara v'arucha, is short but long. Now, Rabbi Yeshua didn't really understand what this means. He figures, okay, the short, long way. So he started going and he realized that yes, it was the shorter way. In terms of actual distance to the city, it was shorter, but it was long. Why? Because the path was strewn with thorns and thickets. It was very difficult to get through. So he went the other way, and he realized, yes, the other way is long but short. It actually was, distance-wise, it was longer to get to the city, but ultimately it was the shorter way and the easier way to go. And the same thing is also when we have difficulties in our service of Hashem, in our Judaism, in our Torah, in our mitzvahs, there is the short, long way. The short, long way is, I am just going to try harder. And if that doesn't work, I'm going to try some more. I'm going to, with the sheer force of my willpower, I'm going to make my way through this. I'm going to press the pedal to the metal. So that seems like a short way. It doesn't require much internal work. It's just a matter of exerting one's willpower, but ultimately it's the long way, and it's not a very sustainable path. And Alter Rebbe says, I'm going to give you a different way. It's a long way. It's going to require self-awareness. You're really going to have to understand yourself very well, and the dynamics that are playing out within yourself and all the struggles that you're having. And it's going to require internal work, mental work, and emotional work. It's arucha, it's long, but ultimately it's ktsara. It is the shorter way. It is the sustainable way and the wisest way to get to our destination. So if you are like me and you are struggling in life, struggling in our service for Hashem, you should know it would be inaccurate to say that Tanya is also for you. Actually, Tanya is specifically for you. Tanya is for the person who is struggling. I hope you join me for this entire year, this entire cycle of Let's Talk Tanya, as we navigate this incredible work which has helped so many in their service of Hashem. Tomorrow's Tanya is the introduction which the Alter Rebbe's sons wrote to the expanded version of Tanya, which after the Alter Rebbe passed away, they published. More on that in tomorrow's Let's Talk Tanya.